If you're a senior, a retiree, or someone who depends on Social Security, even just a little, stop scrolling right now. Because as of today, a brand new SSA rule has officially kicked in, and it's going to change the way millions of Americans receive their benefits. This isn't a rumor, and it's not something coming soon. It is already in effect, and the impact is far bigger than most people realize. For months, experts have been warning that the Social Security Administration was preparing a major policy shift. Many expected small adjustments, minor updates that wouldn't matter much. But what actually rolled out today is something completely different. It affects payments, eligibility, and even how certain retirees will qualify moving forward. And depending on your age, your income, or your current benefit status, this rule could either raise the amount you receive or drastically change what you thought you were going to get. What's surprising is how few seniors even know this happened. No major headlines, no loud announcements. Yet the consequences are already being felt, and if you're retired or planning to retire soon, you cannot afford to misunderstand this. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to break everything down clearly: what changed, who's affected, and exactly what you should do right now to protect your benefits and avoid losing money. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button so this important update reaches more seniors who desperately need to hear it today. Right after hearing that this new SSA rule has officially gone into effect today, you're probably wondering how something this major managed to slip past so many people. And honestly, that's the question millions of seniors and retirees are asking right now. How could a rule that affects monthly benefits, eligibility formulas, and the way work income is counted suddenly take effect with so little warning? The reality is that changes in Social Security rarely arrive with flashing lights. More often, they show up quietly, buried in official bulletins, deeply technical policy updates, and agency memos that most people never see. But just because it wasn't announced loudly doesn't mean it won't impact your life directly. In fact, for many of you watching, this change could be one of the most important Social Security shifts you experience in your lifetime. So let's go deeper. Today's rule is more than just an administrative update. It's a structural adjustment that recalibrates how benefits are calculated, especially for people who have continued working after reaching retirement age, those who delayed claiming, and those with mixed earning patterns over the years. For years, retirees have relied on a fairly predictable formula: claim early, claim late, or claim at full retirement age. Everyone expected the same basic outcomes. Early claiming meant reduced checks, delayed claiming meant bigger checks, and staying within income limits kept everything smooth. But this new rule changes how those numbers are weighted. It adjusts certain thresholds, recalculates the way delayed credits accumulate, and shifts how certain forms of income interact with your Social Security benefit. If you think that sounds complicated, you're not wrong, but I'm going to make it simple for you, because you deserve clarity, not confusion. Imagine this scenario: you're already collecting Social Security and you've been doing a little part-time work to stay active, help the family, or simply cover rising costs. Under previous rules, as long as your earnings were below certain limits, your benefit stayed more or less the same. But with today's rule change, the system now looks at those earnings differently. For some people, this means a recalculation might boost your monthly check, especially if earlier earnings weren't fully credited or if a new formula favors your work pattern. But for others, it could mean that some earnings now reduce your benefit in a new way or delay increases you were expecting. And the most surprising part? You may not notice the effect until your next payment hits your bank account. That's why understanding the why behind this rule is so important. Let's talk about delayed retirement credits, because this is one of the biggest areas the change touches. Many seniors try to delay claiming benefits to boost their monthly income later. It's a smart strategy, especially for those wanting to maximize lifetime benefits. But the new rule subtly revises how those credits stack up. For some, especially those nearing the upper end of the delay window, this could result in slightly different increases than the ones originally projected. Not necessarily bad, but different. Predictability is what retirees rely on, and this rule introduces just enough change to throw off those expectations if you're not paying attention. Now, I want you to think about your own Social Security history. Maybe you worked steadily for 30 or 40 years. Maybe you had gaps raising kids, dealing with medical issues, managing periods of unemployment or part-time work. Maybe you retired early, thinking you'd make adjustments later. Or maybe you stayed in the workforce as long as you could to secure the biggest possible monthly check. All of these choices interact with Social Security's formula, and the new rule reshapes certain parts of that formula. That means your personal history matters more than ever. The more you know about how your benefits were calculated, the easier it is to understand how this new rule affects you today. There's also the question of spousal and survivor benefits. These benefits are often less talked about, but they're hugely important, especially for widows, widowers, divorced spouses, and married couples who rely on a shared financial picture. Under the new rule, adjustments to one person's benefit may ripple into another's. For example, if your spouse received a recalculated benefit due to updated earnings or delayed credits, the amount you receive under their record could also shift. This can be confusing, I get that, because widows and widowers already deal with complex rules around timing, age, and switching between benefits. But here's the thing: Social Security is a chain of interconnected benefits. When one link moves, others follow. And that's why it's so important to look at every statement, not just your own. Now let's address something that most people are afraid to talk about: the possibility that your benefit could decrease. No one wants to hear that. And to be clear, not everyone will see a reduction. Many won't. But the truth is, the new rule changes how certain earnings are evaluated and how some benefits are recalculated. If you're someone who recently reported income, especially income that the SSA previously considered differently, you may see an adjustment. If your earnings were high enough to cross updated thresholds, you may see temporary reductions in your benefit amount. And if you claimed early while working part-time and assumed the old rules still applied, today's change might catch you off guard. This is exactly why I want you to check your statement. Do not assume everything will stay the same. But here's some good news: a lot of people will see increases. People with modest earnings after retirement, especially those who had overlooked income years or undercounted credits, might get a much-needed bump. Think of retirees who worked a little here, a little there, filing taxes but assuming those small amounts didn't matter. Well, under the new rule, those contributions could matter more. And for retirees living on tight budgets, every single additional dollar counts. That's extra money for groceries, medications, transportation, or simply breathing room. We don't talk about that enough. That peace of mind is priceless. Let's talk about why the SSA made this change. Every year, Social Security faces pressure to stay solvent, to keep paying benefits without running out of funds. Adjusting formulas is one way to balance the system longer. But beyond that, recent economic changes, inflation, rising wages, evolving work patterns have all influenced how benefits need to be calculated to stay fair. The rule introduced today aims to modernize certain parts of the system, bringing them closer to current economic realities. Whether that's good or bad depends on how the change affects your personal situation. But one thing is certain: the SSA believes this adjustment helps stabilize the system long term. And while that might be true from a policy standpoint, individuals still need clarity, not surprises. So let's bring this back to you. What should you be doing right now at this moment to protect yourself? First, log in to your SSA account. Look at your current benefit amount. Compare it to the last one you remember. Even a small difference deserves your attention. If you receive your benefits by mail, wait for your next statement and review it carefully. Second, check your earnings history. That's the backbone of your benefit amount. If there are errors, even old ones, now is the time to fix them, because the new rule applies today, not retroactively. Third, talk to your spouse or family members who also receive benefits. Their statements may be affected, too. Fourth, if you notice anything confusing, contact the SSA. I know the wait times can be frustrating, but clarity matters here. If something changed, you deserve a full explanation. And finally, plan ahead. If your benefit increases, great, incorporate it into your budget wisely. If it decreases, don't panic, adjust your financial plan sooner rather than later. Now, I know it can feel overwhelming to think about all this. Social Security rules are complicated. They always have been. But you're not alone. Millions of seniors are navigating the same questions today. And the most important thing you can do right now is stay informed. Keep watching videos like this. Keep reading updates. Keep checking your statements. When rules change, knowledge is the first line of defense. I want you to remember this: your Social Security benefit is something you earned. It represents decades of work, decades of effort, and decades of contribution. A rule change cannot take that away, but it can change how the system evaluates your history. And that's why staying aware matters so much. You deserve transparency, you deserve clarity, and you deserve to know exactly how this new rule affects your financial future. As we wrap up this full breakdown, let me leave you with this final message. This new SSA rule is now active. It is already shaping the benefits millions of Americans receive. Some will see increases, some will see reductions, some will see no change at all. But every person deserves to know where they stand. So check your statements, follow up on anything unexpected, and stay ahead of future updates. Information is power, especially when it comes to Social Security. If this video helped you understand the situation clearly, do me a huge favor and hit that like button right now. It helps this message reach more seniors, more retirees, and more families who need to know the truth about what's happening today. Thank you for watching, stay informed, and let's go deeper into the details together in the next segment.